Hello students, this is a video regarding the particular unit of your syllabus. The syllabus topic which I am going to cover in this video is sequential circuits. The video is quite brief and it will give you how to study this particular unit. The book which I am following for this particular PPT presentation and video is CMOS Digital Integrated Circuits by S. Kang. Sequential circuits. Till date, we have studied about combinational circuits and we are already aware of this particular aspect that whenever we are giving an input, you are getting output directly using some logic. So those circuits are being categorized under combinational logic circuits. But in most of the applications, there is a desire that past inputs and outputs may be required in future. So to cater that need, sequential circuits are being required. Moreover, your combinational circuits are asynchronous in nature and sometimes we want our circuits to be synchronized with different parameters, different components on board. So that's why your sequential circuit thing becomes important. So sequential circuit, the output is determined by current inputs and previous inputs. Sometimes we use a term called regenerative behavior and non-regenerative behavior. So your sequential circuits is known to have regenerative behavior. It may be direct feedback or it may be indirect feedback connection between input and output. So if you have a look at this block diagram, you can find out that this is your input, this is your input, this is your output, and your output is being fed back to the input using a loop. So this is how things go like in your sequential circuit. Now your sequential circuits can be categorized into three different categories. Your bistable circuits, your monostable circuits, and your astable circuits. So when we use term bistable, that means your system is having two stable states. So it may be a latch, it may be flip-flop, it may be circuits or some memory element. And when we use the term monostable, it means one stable state is there while it is operating. And astable, sometimes it may happen that your system does not have any stable operating point or state, which the circuit can preserve for a certain time of period. The output oscillates without settling into a stable operating mode. So this is a quite interesting thing and normally it is being utilized in different perspectives during this particular course. This is a cross-coupled inverter. When you see this particular thing, this is a cross-coupled inverter. So when you are giving input here 1, you are getting output here 0 and it will maintain its input at 1 unless and until you change input on this side. So this particular thing is beautifully described in this particular VI characteristics you can see. So already we have studied about CMOS inverter. So your CMOS inverter is having characteristics like this. And when you are using cross-coupled inverter, so input of first becomes output of second and output of second becomes input of first and so on. So they have characteristics being plotted like this. So already we know that your CMOS inverter characteristic is having different regions of operation. But your region C, where both the devices are in saturated mode, what happens? It is having the maximum gain. Your device is having the maximum gain. So when we talk about bistable thing, you are having two regions or we can say two states. state A and state B, which are stable, and region C is unstable. So whenever your system is moving into this unstable state, it does not remain in that state for a very long time. It immediately tries to settle at either of A or B. In terms of energy, this is being described in this particular figure like this. So when your system state is stable, your energy is at minimum, and when your system is unstable, your system is having this particular point. Again, it try to lose the energy and be getting into the stable state. So this is how things go like that. Whenever you are having a system, you are providing some input. So what happens? Your system is having a tendency to get into stable mode. So whenever your system gets unstable, that means your system is somewhere at this particular moment and it immediately try to settle to either A or B. So that's a illustration about identical cross-coupled inverter circuit, and it is the basic component of SRAM that we are going to study in next unit. So this is a cross-coupled inverter. As already I have discussed, that your input of first becomes output of second, and output of input of second becomes output of first, and so on. So we already know that whenever we are talking about CMOS inverter, there is a point called threshold point. So don't mix this threshold point with the threshold of the PMOS and NMOS. That is a different. This is threshold point of the particular device, particular CMOS configuration. If we are talking about CMOS inverter, then it is the threshold point of the CMOS inverter, where input is equal to output, and after that your input changes output, and so on. That means your things changed after the threshold point. So that is a very important point. So similarly, here it is being depicted that if your input is somewhere at threshold point, what happens? It tends to stable at 1 or 0. So this gives an illustration regarding stability of the things. So now we are going to use this knowledge to attain some